Just keep it moving, and we move back in the groove. This is what we have to do. Oh, you knocked me out the box. You knocked him out the box. You knocked him out the box. You knocked him out the box. So we start all over again. What we do, we start here. Show you. You make your hat, and now you have a top hat. That means your hat is on top of what they talk about. Your hat is your Hyatt. Hyatt. Not hat. Hyatt. 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 Fez. Tabush. So many things is going on. I'm just keeping it moving. We keeping it moving. We going live right here. Now we fully live. We got 4. We got 4 streams right now. Okay, we got my top hat right here. Well, we're teaching, and we're really not talking that much. I'm talking to you now just to let you know, but in reality, we're really not talking. We're doing more writing, right? We got a pen and a paper. We got an alphabet back there, which I will go ahead and redo it again. And I'm going to do it right now. Okay, so we can start getting back to this. So let's see how we can get this done here. Okay. This right here is A. So I'm gonna have to go get I may have it here. Maybe. Okay, we're gonna do A today. We're gonna do A, and A, as everybody can see, A is like this. That's an A. Everybody can see that's an A. That's an A. So I'm gonna put it right here. Fix it up. So you see, this is an A. That's how you make it A. It's not a rush thing. You got to realize this. You got something that's very, very special. That's an A. A. We don't made an A. So you got 27 letters. Once you get this 27 letters, and we start using it our way, no one's gonna follow us because it's none of their business. To be free, you have to work at it. You can't just say, I'm free. You have to get off of your butt and do things. You have to create things. You have to move things out the way. You have to take down laws that doesn't mean anything. You got to go in there and make new laws. You have to be active. And what's going on now? Those people that was active before, they just forgot about it. Okay, so now the B. The B is funny because it's gonna come like this. It's gonna go go around, almost like a 6. And then from here, it's going to go here, like this. So it's going to end up looking like this. I will, and I'm going to try to get something so we can see a little different. But this is the B right here. So you got A, then you got B. That's the B right here. Let me get something little. Right. And take your time. Explain it to the children. Take your time about this. This is not a rush job. It seemed like it was. It was rushed to show your ass that you was in a slave mentality, but it's not a rush to be free. We got the rest of our lives to do what we need to do. Let's see what we got here. All right. We got some other things here. Let's see what we got. We're working with it, baby. Working with it. I just continue to do what we got to do. This is A. A. This right here is B, as you'll see. This is B. Okay, so let me show you what I got right here so you'll see it. Okay, this is A. This is A. This is A. This is B, and this is B. This is B. Make it like this. And then it goes like this. That's B. Okay? So now, we're going to get the next one, see what we got here. It looks like something. We'll see. So we're going to work with C. Now, C goes like this. There you go. This is C right there. See? Right. That's C. A, B, C. See? It's like this. That's C. And everybody can kind of see it. You got Pep Americas, you got Roller Skate, Master Spark, Honeymoons, and Nice Brooklyn Angels. So we got 4 people I'm teaching right now. These are the clubs that we teaching right now. Okay. Other than that, I don't know you from campaign. Don't wish to know you from campaign. Okay, this right here, this is C. This is B. Right B. This is C. This is D. And these look like a triangle with a dot in the middle. Like that. This is D. This is D right here. Okay? D is like a triangle with a dot in the middle. That's D. Okay. E is like this. Right. So this is E right here. This. That's E. That's E. You can see it. F is like this. That's F. Right there. 0 like this, and then that's F. So we got F right there. E, D, C, B, A. It just was a matter of getting yourself together, getting me together, and putting it together. So you got A, B, C, D, E, E, F. A, B, C, D, E, E, F. And this is G. G is like a circle with this right here. That's G. And this really look like here, G. Let's see. G, 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 G. G. This is H. This with this. All this is H. This is H. This is how you make the H. Here, here, and there. And I'm gonna actually wipe this board off, clean it up really nice. So this way, we got a board. We got a new board. I'm gonna get some things, and we're gonna go ahead and do the ABCs. We're gonna get the dictionary. I'm gonna go get the dictionary right now, so we have it on board. I got a couple, but I'm gonna get a special one that I was teaching from it already. So we got this dictionary here, which is great. And from this dictionary, here, that I was so happy to run and get, we have this book here. It's called the 9 Ball. It's called the 9 Ball. And basically, this book is only found and downloaded for free at lulu.com. It is called the 9 Ball. So everything was basically provided for us. We just got to go ahead, open our eyes, and get it. This is called Liberation Information. It says the 9 Ball Guides. In this booklet, we Nubian scientists will only take the space to outline the 9 Nubian guides instead of detailing them. The 9 Nubian guides are those word formulas of motivation and activation which propel Nubians to success individually and as a race. In other words, the Nubians, who has a durability and intelligence to adhere to the word formulas called the 9 Nubian guides, will survive through the ages and be successful. In paragraph 8 and 9 of count 1, we mentioned that the word Ethiopian and Nubian means the same. A Nubian is a woolly haired Ethiopian. So when we state Nubian, we mean a person or persons with genuinely woolly hair, meaning generally kinky hair. The 9 Nubian guys are: 1. I promise to preserve self at all times to the best of my knowing, wisdom, understanding, and ability. 2. I promise to have sexual relationships with no one but the opposite sex of my own kind. 3. I promise to eat and drink only those gases, liquids, and solids which will be more beneficial than harmful to my mental and physical selves, to the best of my knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and ability. 4. I promise to be a Nubian first, and to be the best of my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and ability, then whatever else I wish to be. I promise to advocate 9 knowledge and adhere to 9 knowledge, best of my scientific information, wisdom, understanding, and ability. I promise to treat peoples of other races the same way they treat me, to the best of my knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and ability. I promise to uphold justice and righteousness at all times, to the best of my knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and ability. I promise I will fight hard for liberation and freedom of the Nubian race. And when it is liberated and free, I will work just as hard to keep our liberty and freedom preserved to the best of my knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and ability. Consequently, I promise that before my physical death, I will arrange for my lifeless body to be cremated and the remains distributed at the roots of an evergreen tree or some other suitable place willed by the deceased. I also seriously promise by Nubian forces of nature, by this 9 guide, to maintain the promise of all 9 Nubian guides for an existence in liberty, freedom, preservation, well-being, success, and the understanding that if hold on, we can get it back. If we can get it, get it. Okay, so it's coming out of another sack. Okay, so we got this, we got that. Okay, cool. So we will go with this. We will go with this too, which is you can get it. You can get it yourself and read it. You know, I'm read as much as I possibly can. It's not a problem. But at the same time, you need to know and you need to advance. There's so much we got to talk about. So first we're talking about Webster's Encyclopedia Unabridged Dictionary of the English Language. Okay, we're going to read this book along with the words that we also have from Nubic, Nubian, Nuwabian, Nubians, Ethiopian, Amharic. We have a lot of studying to do. It's not over. And for those who thought it was over and you made it where you at, doing what you're doing, you did a great job. You did a great job. But for those who know that it continues, we're not finished yet. So I'm going to read a couple of words from here. Just straight ABCs. We're talking about act, aid, air, arms, back, chief, do, ebb, equal, ear, fit, give, hit, white, if, ice, just, keep, low, my, now, sing, ox, over, ought, oil, book, ooze, out, pot, read, seed, shoe, 10, thin, that, up, urge, voice, west, away, yes, lawyer, zeal, lazy, those, vision, mirage, occurs, foreign sounds. So we have foreign sounds, we had etymology key, we got descendant derived from, we got descendant derived from through intermediate stages not shown, you got origin unknown, hypothetical abbreviations, ablative, accusative, objective, adverb, alteration, apathetic, apathic, apparently, association, argumentative, blend, cognate, compare, combining, comparative, contraction, defensive, dialect, dative, derivative, dim, diminutive, ecclesiastical, equivalent to, etc., etymology, etymological, feminine, figurative, frequentive, figure, genitive, gerund, gerundive, that is, imperative, indicative, infinitive, irregular, literally, modification of masculine, modern, noun, nominative, northern, oblique, obsolete, origin, originally, passive, perhaps, plural, preposition, present, probably, present, particle, past particle, replacing, reduplication, representing, stern, singular, spelling, separative, syllable, translation, transitive, ultimately, uncertain, verb, verbal, verb variant, vocative. So we got languages. Let's go through a couple of languages that we may have to deal with. You got the top hat and you got the thick book, and you need that for your brain. You need both of these. You need to read this. You need to read this. There you go. Let's do this. Do this. Do this. You need to know this. You need to have this. Okay, so we're talking about Anglo French, African, Anglo Indian, Anglo Latin American, American Indian, American Spanish, Arabic, Aramic, Armenian, Australian, Bulgarian, Canadian, French, Celtic, Chinese, Dutch, Danish, English, East Germanic, Egyptian, French, Finnish, Flemish, Frisian, German, Gallic, Greek, Germanic, Gothic, Hebrew, High German, Hindustani, Hungarian, Icelandic, Indo-Europe, Indian, Irish, Gaelic, Italian, Japanese, Latin, Louisiana, French, Low German, Late Greek, Lithuanian, Late Latin, Middle English, Mexican Spanish, Middle French, Medieval Greek, Middle High German, Middle Persian, Medieval Latin, Modern Greek, Modern Hebrew, Neo Latin, Norwegian, Old Bulgarian, Old Church, Slavonic, Old Danish, Old English, Old French, Old Russian, Old German, Old High German, Old Icelandic, Old Irish, Old Latin, Old Italian, Old Low German, Old Norse, Old North French, Old Persian, Portuguese, Old Provençal, Old Russian, Old Saxon, Old Slavic, Old Suburban, Old Spanish, Old Swedish, Pennsylvania German, Persian, Portuguese, Polish, Provençal, Prussian, Romance, Romania, Russian, South Africa, Dutch, African, Scandinavian, Scottish, Scotch, Gaelic, Semitic, Sanskrit, Slavic, Spanish, Arabic, Swedish, French, Turkish, Bulgar, Latin, West Flemish, West Germanic. So we're going with Webster's Encyclopedia Unabridged Dictionary of English Language. And this book starts off with, when you want to be free, you got to know what to be. And you have to have knowledge. And you have to have a lot of knowledge, a lot of brains. So you got to have a thick hat. So it tells you about the atlas of the world, chronology of major dates in history, Presidents of the United States, Vice Presidents of the United States, Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, major reference works, the Manual of Style. You're going to read what that is. Indo-European Language Chart, Bad Spellers Dictionary, Rhyming Dictionary and Glossary of Poetic Terms, Common Language, Common Usage of the French Dictionary, Common Usage of the German Dictionary, Common Usage of the Italian Dictionary, Common Usage of the Spanish Dictionary, Crossword Puzzle Dictionary. Okay, so within the context of this book is information that is daily work for those who are free to translate, to communicate, to observe things that's going on. You have to establish yourself with the time. So they set you up. You were set up by those who set up the setup. And in the setup, those who had ill intents. That means their heart wasn't right. Their heart wasn't purified before they started their mission. They were supposed to see a change, make that change in their foundation of whatever they're going to do every day, and change their way of life to get to this part. People got to this part, then they got 24 hours a day, they got the time, they got the day, they got the grid, how everything is going. That's not enough. That's the switch off. So we come in to make the switch and swap. We give them back that. That's what we gave them in the first place, just for them to be civilized. So we are the civilizers. How in the world we doing the same thing? Or how if you would to think I'm equal to that? I'm not. I'm not. I'm not going to be equal to that. And we're going to think and do things. We just right now, we're going to go ahead and shake it up. Get some wind in this. Get some wind, my friend. So we say wind. And we think wind. That's it. It's a done deal. It's already windy. The wind, you're going to see it blowing. And every time you see it blow, you're going to think, yeah, did I do that? Did I do that? Or did you do that? Or did we do that together? We have to be involved in this, where we at, this atmosphere. This atmosphere is not for us to be fair. This atmosphere is a protection of where we at, right here. So now we got the dictionary. We're not going to run. We ain't running from it. It says Introduction to English Language and the Dictionary. Although not everyone may realize it, the origin of the English language can be dated with relatively precision. The term English goes back to the name of one of the Germanic tribes, the Angels, who, according to the Venerable Bede, began to invade Britain in the year 449. English derived as Angelus, and both the name of the tribe, the Angels. Angelis, and the ish, which is suffix, are entered in this dictionary as are the same BD. And of course, the word English itself, where the etymology just outlined is given. The Angelus and also the Saxons and the Jutes, who according to Bede, joined in the invasion of Britain, all spoke dialects of a language scholars call West Germanic. No contemporary records of which are extant. Other current West Germanic languages, along with English, are Dutch and German. West Germanic was closely related to North Germanic, or German, which survives today in the Scandinavian languages, plural, such as the Norwegian, the Swedish, the Danish. Now, originally, both West Germanic and North Germanic were the same language, called Germanic, before its speakers split up and in time evolved their own distinctive speech. Germanic, in turn, is related to a number of other ancient languages in both Europe and Asia, such as Greek, Latin, Slavic, Celtic, Hittite, and Indic. Some of these ancient languages, such as Hittite, have no surviving descendants. Others, such as Latin, have many. French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, as with the branches of Germanic. All of these ancient languages stem from the same prehistoric language, which scholars call Indo-European. Attempts have been long made to relate into Indo-European families of languages, now spoken by half of the people in the world, to the many others known languages families, such as Semitic, which include the current language Hebrew and Arabic, or Euro-Attic, which includes Finnish and Hungarian. The oldest stage of the English language is called Anglo-Saxon or Old English. Its period lasted until the Norman conquest of 1066, when William the Conqueror imposed a new government and tried with some, but far from total success, to impose on Britain, the conquerors, French. From then until 1475, the language is called Middle English, and from then to now is called Modern English. The earliest Old English records date from about the year 650. Most surviving Old English manuscripts, however, are from the 10th and the 11th centuries, including the single surviving manuscript of the epic poem Beowulf. The English of these early times is much different than that of today. It is the Lord's Prayer as written in the southwest of England about the year 1000. It says, "Verdur eri thou the earth on he venom Sidenama Gahagad to become thin rice. Jeworth then wala on Korten. Swaswa on Theophium Umi." Almost all the 11 words of the opening sentence, for instance, are recognizable, but barely. Some of them have changed simply in pronunciation and thus in spelling, but still have essentially the same form of faida or father or thou or thou. Other words have also changed in inflections or inflection. Inflection is a sound enhanced in writing one or more letters, added to a word to show how the word is being used. So, for instance, Heo Phenum in the Old English is now Heophen or heaven, plus the inflection, which indicates dative or plural. That is, the noun is plural here, and in the dative case, which is the case of the indirect object. Thus, the form Heophenum by itself means in the heavens. Yet, in the first science or sentence of the Lord's Prayer, the Old English always used prepositions with the dative noun Heopherna, that is redundant, as both the proposition on their meaning in, and the inflection show how the noun here here hereoften is often used in or relates to the rest of the sentence. Because of such redundancies, many inflections used in Old English have died out. So, whereas in Old English a single noun can have special inflections for any of the four cases: nominative, which is the subject; genitive, which is possessive; duative; and accus- accusative or direct object. Today, only one case, the possessive, has any inflection. We say heaven for the subject or object, but heaven for possessive. And areas in Old English are plural noun can likewise have special inflections for the same cases. Today, in the plural, nouns are not inflected at all. We say heavens, plural subject or object, and also heavens, plural possessive. In writing, we use apostrophes to show the singular and plural possessive, but there is no difference in pronunciation between heavens, and heavens. Verbs, pronoun, and adjectives also have a far more inflections in Old English than in the latest stages of the language. In fact, adjectives in the certain English do not have any inflections at all and have not had any for over 400 years. Verbs and pronouns still infect, but the Lord's Prayer for the second person singular today, we say you or your, whether the reference is to one or other persons or to or more than one. Lord's Prayer for the second person singular today, we say you or your. The opening sentence of the Lord's Prayer also happens to show how some old English verbal inflections have coalesced or been lost. The last word in the sentence, Jehalgad, meaning hallowed, Jehalgad, meaning hallowed in the past participle, and this is shown by distinctive inflections of odd. The GE prefix occur here too, but the prefix was not restricted to past participles in Old English. The past tense from this verb in Old English are Jehoiada singular or Jehoiada plural. The Old English had three distinct inflections. Odd or ODE pronounced as two syllables, Oldham, which have all coalesced into ED. We use hallowed not only as a past participle, but also as a past tense, singular and past tense plural. The distinctive O vowel of the English inflection was reduced in pronunciation to a undifferentiated E sound called shower, called in the Middle English period. The final N was lost from past plural inflections, but not always from past participles. None. The current past particles ridden or driven, and around the year 1400, the unstressed final E was lost. By the time the Chancellor, who wrote during the Middle English period, and died in the year 1400. The English is much more easily recognizable as the language we speak today. There are still inflections that we use, but not so many and equally important. The vocabulary has taken in many of the now familiar loan words from French in the famous opening couplet of Chance's Canterbury Tales. For instance, the main verb pierced is a French loan word. What that April with this shores sat. The grunt and the machi has proceed to the route. The names of the months in this corporate are also from French. See the etymologies from March and April in this dictionary. But the rest of the word come from Anglo-Saxon, even if, as with sour, a variant form of sweet, salty is a variant form of sweet. We no longer use these terms. Chancellor's couplet is obviously not free from infections, but most of them simply consist of final E. The inflection was now pronounced with very little stress and was soon lost, and its function had become minimal. In these first two lines of the Canterbury Tales, for instance, none of the five final E converge any information not already provided in the preposition or by the word order. Chaucer lived 600 years ago, but we spoke and wrote in the London dialect of English, a dialect from which descended the standard varieties of English used today in both North America and Britain. This makes chances much easier for us to read than he otherwise would be, as can be seen by comparing the language with the opening two lines of the poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, also from the late 14th century, but from the northwest of England near Liverpool. Scythian, the sage, and assault was seized at Troy, the Borge, Brighton, and Brent, the Brandes, and Asquez. Since the siege and the assault was seized at Troy, the city destroyed and burnt to bands and ashes. Not only is this language that's familiar to us, but it's also is the style. Chaucer wrote and rhyme verses in imitation of French and Italian models, the Gawain poet, and alliteration and tradition of the Anglo-Saxon poetry. Shakespeare, like Chaucer, lived and wrote in London, though he came from Stratford, and did most of the writings from 17th and 16th centuries we now read. The works of these writers need progressively less respelling and ghastly as we move toward our own time. It is important to realize, however, that most current editions of Shakespeare do not keep the original spelling. Here is a famous line from Hamlet, as found in the edition printed in 1604, the second Couture edition. Oh, that this too, to sell flesh would melt. Another edition, early edition of Shakespeare, the so-called first Frollo in 1623, has two, two solid flesh. But this does not mean that salad is an error. It may well be exactly what Shakespeare intended, his way of spelling, reflecting his pronunciation of word to word, suffield the entry of the verb, usually as in this dictionary explained, that it descends from Old English, sally, and it is a pronunciation. The O can develop an easy into an old Shakespeare sally as into a U or salute. Shakespeare may have brought the form salib to London from his native Stratford, or it may have been used widely in London in his time and since died out. We do not know. What is known, however, is that English language continues to have regional dialects. They developed in Britain during the Middle Ages, and they likewise sprang up and have persisted in North America. Benjamin Franklin, writing to Noah Webster in December 1789, remembered his own native English dialect from 1720 to 1730. When I left New England in the year 23, the word improved had never been used among us. As far as I know, in the sense of ameliorated or made better, except once in a very old book of Dr. Mathis entitled Remarkable Provinces. As the eminent man wrote a very obscured hand, I remember that when I read that word in his book, used instead of the word employed, I conjectured that it was an error of the printer. But when I returned to Boston in 1733, I found this change had obtained favor and was then become common. I met with it often in pursuing the newspapers, where it frequently made an appearance rather ridiculous, such, for instance, as the advertisement of a country house to be sold, which had been many years improved as a tavern. First, note that the Franklin's time, the choice between the forms employed and employed has still not been settled. Have also located the nouns throughout the passage, for it was then common to capitalize them. But Franklin's main assertive, of course, is that the one use of the verb improved the meaning employed. It is a local feature of the New England dialect of English, and it is a deplorable error. The first part of the assertion that the use of improve is a local feature may be correct, though the usage is now known as at to date or Martha's book. The second part of the assertion, however, the prescriptive part, is another matter. Many words change in meaning through time, usually imperceptibly and have always done so. The half dozen correct meanings distinguished in the dictionary for the verb improve have been evolved from an earlier, simpler meaning for the word in French. This fine dictionary contains in magnificent form the noble tradition exemplified by Benjamin Franklin of describing and reporting the English language. David Yerkes, B.A., Yale, B.A., Oxford, Professor of English, Columbia University. So this is basically the introduction to the dictionary. We need this. We need to have this. Now, you don't want me walking around here with a dictionary on my neck. We don't need that. So what we need to do is just study. So that was the first. And I'll put food dick. And DIC means dictionary. All right? When we studied the dictionary, we had a little something going on with it. Here's a book here that we can get up. We just left the dictionary. This right here. This is another book. Daily Missal. We already said the missal was for the masses of the people. And this is St. Joseph's book. March 19, 1957, the Feast of St. Joseph. This book was in 1957. I was 3 years old and wasn't finally allowed to read the book, have the book. But these books here, this book here, The Holy Sacrifice of the Mass. Holy Mass is the unbloody sacrifice of the New Testament in which the body and the blood of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ are offered to God under the appearance of bread and wine. Humanity's redemption was accomplished when Christ bowed his head in death on the cross. The Holy Mass is the sacrament of the sacrifice of redemption through which more abundantly than through any other means, which is called the Council of Trent. The merits of Christ's redeeming death are applied to souls. The Mass is not a mere symbol recalling the sacrifice of the cross. It is a sacrament, a symbol that does what it signifies through the separate consecration of the bread and wine. Christ our Lord, speaking through his priests, portrays the shedding of his blood and his dying on Calvary, and becomes really present under symbols that show him to be in a state of victimhood in accomplishing this act. Christ presents once more before his Father his immolation on the cross with all involves of love, obedience, and adoration, thanksgiving, propitiation, and petition. Thus, Saint Cyprian writing to the Christians in the 3rd century, declared the sacrifice we offer to God is the passion of our Lord Himself. Work. It takes work to get it done. Move around it. Take a look. You took a look. What you find? Now you can't find nothing. You just see this. It's like here. Take a look. Take a look. Take a look. The mass of the faithful, the mass of the catechism. Because only the baptized were permitted to assist. Try to read Ephesians. That's to have mercy. It's just a lot of things we just have to keep going. You have to keep going and try to get fit with the fit, but to get that. This here, I'm right underneath the flag. This one here, I'm underneath the third eye. Right here, I'm underneath the door. And right here, I'm at the door. So we read the Bible, we did the writings, we read the master. So everybody had a way of introducing themselves in what we call this here. We call this the Royal Cycle. The Royal Cycle. Yeah. Yeah. Because everybody belongs in it. You can't go nowhere. I mean, if you got a track, if you came in your own, you're still here. Here's your Bible. You're going to read something. Okay, we're just going to read a little bit of the table of contents because we just started from fresh from everything. This was in 1973. It's an international version. Things start changing over a period of time. And if we don't add on to the truth, then more lies gonna be told. But we got Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Samuel, First Samuel, First Kings, Second Chronicles, First Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalm, Proverbs, Ecclesiastic, Psalms, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Adonai, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. We got Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, First Corinthians, Second Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, First Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians, First Timothy, Second Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, First Peter, Second Peter, First John, Second John, Third John, Jude, and Revelations. Okay. Today we're going to read out right now. We read this before many times, and the reason I read it, the book got stamped January 22nd, January 7th, 1937. So this is a book. It's called Plane Geometry. Yeah, be looking at this. So we didn't get that. We got this. Okay, so we talking about geometry. I'm gonna stop it right there. (1951), 1931. Triangles, angles, lines associated with triangles, problems of constructions, perpendicular, parallels. Is first of all rectangular lines, triangles, geometry, measurement, figures, circles, the circle, rectangular lines. So we go from straight, circle, and square to the circles. So we're going through geometry. So we're going to be talking about geometry. We have to talk about so many different things. It's the life we live. So when you was born, they said, well, which you want to be? Don't ask them what they want to be. Tell them what's needed. And for those of you who failed, please do not. Just keep it moving. You, it's like a lost memory. When you see somebody that is doing, you either do or don't do. That's it. So many of you really, it's off the, you're not even included in what I'm talking about. Period. I just be talking. It'll be a time where you be like, oh yeah, yeah, let me talk about it. It'll be a time where you'll be saying, oh wow, what did you do today? Well, today I taught this, I explained that. For what? You think it's just in the wind? It's for the reality. It's a reality check. Everybody gets a reality check. See, people say a lot of things. Do they really mean it? That's what we say. Do they really mean it? You got so many things to show you. I do what I do. I say what I say. I don't play your shit. No. We say no, thank you. You like that better? So always gonna find something different. Yeah. So we had the book, we had the Bible, we had the dictionary every day. Bible, dictionary, Bible, dictionary. Then as you get older, you can have to become more experienced. Yeah. Into the word, into the word. So this is it. Oh. In the name of Jesus, hallelujah. Even forget. Nobody forgets. People act like they forget. They don't forget. People act like they forget. Someone, they act like they ain't forgetting. People forget nothing. People act like you just keeping it moving. you at? That's what you said. I didn't say it. All right, I'm waiting. What up? What up? Hey, what's back and forth. I'm back, and I'll be popping in and out. So this is my channel. You can get it. You can stay with it. You can be with it. You can listen. You can learn from it. You don't have to. It's up to you. We're on to the next stage. Moving on. Okay. And I guess I'll read a couple of words to you. Yadara ta dara a daru handaru